Welcome back, Planeswalkers, to another episode of the Hive Mind. My name is Jon. This right here is the show where I traverse the multiverse in search of other prominent members of the Magic the Gathering community. And before our Planeswalker traverses this time, I want to give you a few pit stops along the way to go check out while we're traversing, as we tend to do on this show. And that's the first one is at cardsphere.com. Cardsphere.com, the best place to buy, sell, and trade your paper Magic the Gathering cards. Also, if you want to pop on over to inkedgaming.com, you could find awesome things like the custom inked playmats for this very show, the Hive Mind, and 10th Street Hooligans. Enter your promo code HiveMindMTG to get your 10% off. So without further ado, planeswalking in from the tundra, like the literal, revised, alpha beta tundra, better known as Minnesota, from Living Cards MTG on YouTube and the senior graphics designer for Channel Fireball, please welcome Geoffrey Palmer. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you so much for having me, Jon. Yeah, it's very blue and white up here. It's a tundra all day long, and it's cold. That's pretty much the overriding, thing you're gonna find. But I'm in the basement. I'm warm. I'm ready to have a great show.
Nice, awesome. I'm super excited for this one, man. We're going to get into your many talents and everything, but you're just, aside from that, how talented you are, you're just a funny guy, and it seems just by interacting with you as much as I do on Twitter, that you and I are going to get along just fine.
I think so. Yeah. Funny. I make a lot of memes, so the bar is pretty low. I mean, it's like mime and then meme. So I don't know, but we'll go with it.
Nice. And before I get kicked off my sponsor, I just want to say I had to represent, for my guest, I have to represent, Channel Fireball. I've had this shirt forever, but it's not every day that you have the senior graphics designer from a company on there. So Ted, don't fire me, please.
Channel Fireball, one of many fine purveyors of buying and selling Magic cards. A lot of good ones out there. We're happy to be one of them that people seem to like.
Absolutely. So without further ado, Geoffrey, what is your Magic origin story?
Yeah, my Magic origin story. So pretty similar to a lot of people who are kind of my age. I'm mid-30s now, which is a little scary.
Right.
But I played in middle school, played in, high school. And this was, we're talking Urza's Saga. And which, my God, that set is so expensive now. We didn't have any idea any of those cards. Obviously, nobody did. So not that old. I didn't play in revised or any of that stuff. But we got in, playing your kitchen table 200 card decks, and just kind of maintained an interest, and then really fell off kind of in college. But yeah, I kept an eye on things. Things are coming out. Went to film school, which we'll talk about later. But I had a buddy who really maintained an interest. Guy named Ian Campbell. Shout out. One of my best friends, and he'd come to town. Okay, let's go buy the intro decks. Let's go buy whatever so passively I maintain an interest. It all changed for me in early 2015 when he came up and he's like, okay, you got to check this out. They're doing Magic coverage now, like every weekend. And I'm like, what? Okay, this sounds awful. I'm not going to know what's going on. I'm not going to, how am I going to be entertained by this? Because I had the fuzzy memories of the ESPN kind of, the early Randy Bueller, love you, Randy, and but real grainy, and how do you know what's going on? It's super nerdy, and okay, let's check it out. And it was Star City Games coverage. Love, everybody does different flavors of it, but P. Sully and Cedric Phillips, they're explaining. I know what's going on. In about 15 minutes, I'm going, okay, that's the Seed Rhino, that's going to do that. And that this is 2015 cons block. So everybody's, everybody's casting your Siege Rhinos and whatever the hell else was going on. And
collective companies, all the Cocos running about,
yeah,
right?
The Cocos. What was the lion, the ferocious with the 3/3 for 2 mana?
Oh God! In the
it's
magic of editing and post-production, it's floating on screen right now for the listeners. Yeah.
But that was the card. When I saw that, I said, what the hell? Okay, like, what, the power level is gone. It's 2 mana for a 3/3 with no downside. I got very upset. But I was hooked. I was right back into the scene. And mainly at the part where I was in my career, at that point, 7 years or so into television commercial production, I'm going, okay, this is not bad. They've got decent cameras, they got audio, they're putting on a show, but I know I could kind of do better than this, or at least kind of add my part to it and kind of do my own spin on it because I work in production. So fell full back into the playing. Went to a local game store just down the way. It's amazing. Everybody's Magic the Gathering story seems to be pretty similar. Just met a play group. Flash forward a couple of years, they're some of my best friends, and we still get together pretty much every week, and have this whole time. So yeah, back full time playing again, sort of. For the most part. Now it's my day job, so I feel like a little less enthused to actually play it, but I am fully entrenched now.
That's awesome, man. Scaling it back a little bit to the actual beginning of when you were playing, what about the actual game itself drew you in? Was it the illustrations? Was it just like the way that the game worked as far as mechanically goes? What was it that was so I guess enticing to draw you in personally?
Right. I think it was the gathering, the community, the playing with other people. Because I'm terrible. I'm not good at thinking about mechanically how the cards work. I love the art. Obviously, that's a huge part of my day job and career now. But even that, was kind of passive. I just really liked playing, and maybe kind of out thinking here and there, just with friends. Let's get together. And it's something that everybody feels passionate about, and it doesn't get boring, because you can always play different decks. The game's Commander, we'll talk about that, is like the greatest. And I love that aspect of getting together. That the gathering half of it is definitely way more important for me than the Magic. The game is wonderful, but it's getting together with friends and stuff that really makes it for me.
Absolutely. Do you remember thinking back, like you said, Urza block, how expensive that stuff is now, reserve list, back in my day, kids, we'll go in the way back machine, but we didn't know what the hell was going on. We were playing Urza cards and all that sleeveless sometimes, or the fat penny sleeves that, that accordioned and kind of popped up like a Jack in the Box. Do you remember any of those like early pulls? Now thinking back on it, then where you're just like, that is sweet. I wish I still had that.
A Gaia's Cradle. We all had several of those. Didn't know. Oh, this makes lots of mana. I'm gonna get more of my elves out. What's up? Lynn Civi, that was my girl. The rebel leader. That was the first time I ever was reading about it, and they're saying put 4 of a card in a deck, and then you'll have a better chance of having it. And that was just when it started to click with me that like, oh, you can kind of optimize this and actually pick what cards go in instead of just like, I want to play white. So you get your white cards out and set them down and go, I like this one, it's in. I hate this one, it's out.
Oh yeah.
Okay, here we go. Let's play. That was the first time I ever started to think strategically about time. I think she got banned or something for being too good. But that was it. My buddy was into the Phyrexians, getting the massive, painful creatures out, and so it's the classic battle, white versus black, and all day long.
And little did I know later on I'd become the biggest black-white fan. Like you're
an Orzhov.
Orzhov Dunn is my Twitter handle, but
Ravnica Allegiance is going to be the set for you, huh?
Oh my God, Aristocrats is back, baby.
Here we go. Happy. That's funny.
I was just like, oh, Esper Control, because back when Return to Ravnica came out, I was such a big Esper Control fan. I loved that deck because back then you could play whatever kind of style you wanted. But when they just kind of recently, when this interview is recorded, by now you will see some of these spoilers come out, especially for the Orzhov, and just seeing that, I'm just like, oh man, I was stoked for Esper Control. Little did I know, am I going to be playing Abzan tokens like with Selesnya, with the Convoke, and now you have, everything's a Doom Traveler. Woo! Yeah, I'm in heaven.
Oh man, those little flying spirits, they're gonna kill me so many times. It's gonna be bad. I'm gonna be playing my Chain Whirlers thinking I got everything handled, and they're just gonna walk right over me in the air. Ugh.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I mean, Lingering Souls is not only Alex Kessler's favorite card, but myself as well. But
Yeah,
oh,
Lingering Souls. There you
oh, it's
go.
so good.
It'll be
Oh,
fun.
I'm
So
gonna be.
much to look forward to.
It really is, man.
Oh, I'm excited for the new set. Yeah.
Total.
It's so funny with my job, like getting the set cycle is what keeps it interesting. Like just as soon as I'm just like I'm so done with Dominaria, I never want to hear about it. So we're on to Ravnica. And, oh, I'm so excited again. Let's go. Let's make new ads, and let's keep got to keep the creativity fresh. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's interesting.
So going from, like you said, you kind of, as far as playing the game goes, you kind of ventured in more to the EDH route. Did you ever do the whole competitive thing, or kind of dip your toe into that scene?
Tiny. I mean, we're talking little, child with the floaty on, one toe in the water. I think I went to one PPTQ or something with my red deck, got smashed. That's just not my scene. I love going to the GPs, but I played in one or two, and I don't have the mentality for it. I don't like to sit there and try to think for hours. That's why I was always playing red. I'm like, okay, let me just try to win or lose quickly and then go get a hot dog at the stand and try to decompress. That's the strategy. I have so much respect for Reed, the Reed Dukes of the world who could just sit there and go, wow, I'm at 100 to 99% of my brain power for 9 hours straight. I mean, I've worked when I went to working the Grand Prix for Channel Fireball, I'm just sitting here watching these guys thinking, how do you do it? But it's just a different mindset. Some people can get into that zone where they're able to think critically for that long. Not my scene, but plenty of other space for people like me in the community and doing what I do to still be very prominent. So I didn't need the pro scene. I love all the pros. They're all awesome people. I've met pretty much all of them at this point, and I really respect what they do.
So let's talk about, and you already kind of mentioned what you are playing as far as, you're playing the EDH format pretty much, and how frequently you said quite frequently. What let's talk about EDH a little bit. Who are your all-stars? What drew you to that format? Because you said the competitive scene's not for you, but tell me about your love affair with Commander.
Well, the friend group that I have we're all very similar. Nobody's competitive. Level more competitive, within the group than some others. But we all sort of found EDH around the same time, started trying it out. I remember somewhat drunkenly one night, my buddy was like, okay, we're gonna, you're gonna here, you take this, and I'm going, oh, we're back to the kitchen table. Why is he handing me this brick of cards? And I'm okay, whatever. And then I'm kind of playing through, and I'm thinking, man, this is cool, because you're never really going to have that similar of a game, even within your own deck. It'll always be something different. So yeah, we just fell into playing that, and because you can throw a new deck together once you have a pile of cards sitting out there. I have way too many. Of course, like, okay, I'm sick of whatever. Pull a Dominaria card out. I'm like Slim Voda, the giant. It's a legendary thing. I call it Slim Vodka because I love vodka. And so now we're playing mono blue giant fish whale things. And how are you going to get bored with a format that is just infinite creativity? And also, as strategic as you can get, you never know what you're going to get. So it's like, put in the cards you like, and somebody like me, who's your net decker, if I'm trying to actually do any good, can actually brew a little bit and be successful. So I enjoy it.
I think that is the appeal, because especially for a creative mind like yourself, where you have all the, EDH, and I think I've made this analogy before, but like standard and in constructed formats is like the regular Crayola box. You get your 10 colors and you're good to go. You got all your basics. Here's your format. Go for it. EDH, you get the giant Costco brand, with all 450 colors of all the rainbows. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so I could definitely see the appeal to that, especially with, like I said, with
Yeah.
someone with a creative mind. So,
I have one stupid competitive deck. I do have Prosh, the Sky Raider of Care.
oh yeah, that's a good
Cue
one.
the Prosh animation if you have that. That was one of the second or third cards I ever animated. It's playing over on the command zone. But yeah, that one is just stupid because even in 4-player games, you're winning on turn 4 90% of the time, and so that one get put. I pull it out when I'm on a losing streak, snap the streak. Okay, back to slim vodka or whatever. You know what I mean?
Slim
And
Shady, yeah.
Slim Shady. When you just get down, you're like, okay, I just got to prosh people out. Oh yeah. Here's a story at Vegas. Dana Fisher, the little elf planeswalker who's doing so awesome for the
I
next
do, yeah.
generation Magic. Yeah. I played a game of EDH with her. I only had my Prosh deck with me. I didn't want to be competitive, but she wanted to play, and there was a group of us. So I'm sitting there holding the combo in my hand, and her dad walks by, and I said, "Do you mind if I kill your daughter? I mean, I feel so." And he goes, no, just go. You do your thing. Okay. I make it infinite kobolds and drain the entire table for infinity. And she's just so sweet. Okay, next game. She's just like, cool. You got me. No problem. Took it like a champ, and off we go. So yeah. It's that format lends itself to these stories where you're just like, we were all together, and then somebody villainous wealth, and they hit my Imracul, and then the triumphs, the battle cruiser style Magic. That's what's so much fun about the EDH format. So love it.
That's why I really liked Theros, because that was a like an Exo Squad type of, yeah, I know that's a deep cut, Exo Squad. That kind of Voltron-esque format where I was just like all the what were they called? It was, everything
gods.
where you just the gods and the heroic deck. I love that.
Oh, I love the heroic deck. That was one when I first got playing Standard. Had the white blue heroic.
Yes.
Just was so much fun with Hero of Iroas. I think that's like an archetype in the the Ultimate Master set. I haven't drafted it yet. I have a box sitting here waiting for the group. But yeah, we're it's so much fun. Pump up your guys a little bit every time something heroic happens.
Battle cruiser magic.
Exactly. Yeah, man.
So yeah, you've been playing, or you said you kind of took a long hiatus, but you've been playing pretty regularly for the last 2 years. And Magic tends to do that, man. I've sold my collection probably at least 3 times at this point, but I always get that snake bite because they're like, okay, they're like Kaladesh. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And then they're like, Ravnica 3. I'm like, yes, I'm back.
More Ravnica.
Does it say Orzhov? Is that a Pesa card? Yeah,
they're reading your mind, John. They're in the Wizards play design. They're sitting there going, "Okay, we're not going to get John with the calendar. That's a miss. But we will get him back with the Ravnica." And so many people coming back. So much fun to be had.
Oh man! So what brought you back for this stint, specifically, personally for you?
So it was watching that coverage. It was just kind of seeing that this was something that I could pick up again. And kind of click right back into and enjoy, and kind of wanting to go. Plus, we moved to Minneapolis, so I'm from Missouri originally, so it was like, okay, this is a way to go out and meet probably some guys like me, and sure enough, met lots of good friends through it. So that it was kind of wanting to get out, have an excuse to go and be social. Doing something I thought I could have fun with. Again, back to the gathering. That's what makes it great.
Absolutely. And you kind of alluded it a little bit to it earlier in the conversation, but you have a very interesting background. You went to film school, which, that speaks to me. I'm here for that for sure. What was that journey like, and how did that kind of lend itself to the content that you produce now?
Yeah, absolutely. So the film degree, disclaimer, I'm going to be real with you, people who are watching and have the interest in the film and the degree and all that type of stuff. alone, as a standalone, it's worthless. It's not worth the paper it's printed on, because it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean, you don't go up to Paramount and you knock on the door and say, I'd like to submit an application to take over the Transformers franchise. What it was for me was a chance to get a foundation in creativity that would lead to something that I wanted to do. I didn't know if I wanted to do film. I didn't know if I wanted to do graphic design, commercials, any of this kind of stuff. I just knew that I wasn't going to do math or any science or anything like that. It's okay, so we're putting our points. It's like an RPG tree. Okay, we're putting our points into creativity. What's our profession going to be? So I got the film degree, but I saw so many people who were just studying, working hard for those A's, but only going to the school and only really trying to excel at that. And that can work, but it's a lightning, being struck by lightning chance that you're going to have anything actually happen with it. So my first thing I did was drop out. 2 years in, I joined a startup. Got a gig being creative, doing basic stuff. I mean, I was on Apple Motion, not even proper After Effects at this point, for those of you familiar with the motion design programs, but it was enough, and the startup was a disaster. They folded within a year, but I learned so much, and I came away with that golden nugget of 1 year experience. That's what's so important, to hammer home here. So back to college, but I had the 1 year. So then here's a job, part-time, but it's making capital campaign graphics, and they wanted 1 year of experience, and I I plug it in. I got the 1 year. I gave a great interview. Hey, what's up? And and got the job. And right from there. So 2 more years of college, and 2 more years of experience. So boom, graduate college with 3 years of experience. And I would say that, obviously you need the degree to have the check mark. Yes, this guy can follow through on something, but the experience and the real world, how to work, how to take criticism, getting an A or a B on a paper is not like having somebody tell you that your work needs changes. It's amazing when you're on the job and you're feeling very personal about what you've created. And us millennials, we take everything personally. I'm on the tail end of it, but I'll still lump myself in. And you have to know how to go, okay, don't say anything, just go and fix it or make it right, and move on. So it was such a learning experience. So the college was great, but coming away with the experience, which I then parlayed into a job that wanted 3 to 5 years of experience as a production manager in Omaha, Nebraska. I'm not a typical Midwesterner. I was flying apps all over the country. I looked at Seattle. I looked everywhere. We could have been there. But it paid off in Omaha. I got to be a production manager. So more experience, more doing commercials, and met the young lady who seduced me and absconded with me off to Minnesota, became my wife, and more production work. So yeah, about 7 to 10 years of just of hard work doing TV commercials, directing, and then I started to get a little more into the motion graphics side of things, which all primed me, because I was getting kind of sick of it, for when I discovered this magic world, 2015, kind of coming back to it. And do you want to transition right into how that kind of started?
Well, real quick, I just want to make a note of what you said and kind of piggyback. I mean, it's so important. You said that everyone, especially in our age, in our industry, when you're creating anything, we tend to take criticism so personally, and there is, and I'm talking about actual, constructed criticism, which is where you could find this very show in podcast form, constructedcriticism.com. Talk about a segue. No, but in all seriousness, that's invaluable stuff. There's people that are just like, oh, you suck, or the thumbs down on a YouTube video is the That's not criticism. That's just
the
dumb.
downvote.
Yeah, exactly. That does nothing. But the why, and with all that, I think as creators and as creative people working in that kind of industry, you learn more from your failures than your successes.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's huge. I mean, I'll never forget it. The first creative meeting that I was in, I had made the content. It was a kids show that we were pitching. This is back at the startup for reference. And we're sitting in the room with all the people who are potentially going to sponsor this show. And the CEO starts picking it apart, saying this, and I start trying to chime in. Me, little Geoffrey, I'm 21 or whatever, at the end of the table, going, "Well, actually, and so I didn't make too big of a fool of myself. But afterwards, my boss comes over and he goes, "Shut the fuck up," and I'm just like, "Oh," and it's like, "You don't talk ever," you know what I mean? It's like you. Yeah, and it's a hard lesson because you want to talk. You want to go, oh no, I can explain all that. I can explain it away. But you just don't talk. Just listen, and that will get you so much further than you will believe. Because especially non-creatives, these business people, they don't want to hear what you have to say. They don't understand the language that you talk. They just want you to hear what they think, and then go off and do whatever
And
that you're going
implement
to
it.
do.
Yeah.
Talk to people who are like you. That's who you can talk to. But yeah, just don't ever try to come back at these people with your own things in the moment. It's such a funny lesson that everybody, eventually learns. Like, okay, yeah, yes, sir, and then off you go and do your own thing. Yeah, so
Yeah, that's why you have to kind of kill your own baby first before other
you
people
have
can.
to. Yeah,
Yeah, you have to make sure, that's why you painstakingly just, if you think your thing is great, no, go back
hmm
and cut it more. Then
yeah,
you think it's great, go back and cut it some more. Like,
do it.
because
And
once you
yeah,
give it to other people, they're not going to be as nice as you are. Like, even though
no,
you hold this thing near and dear to your heart, it doesn't mean that other
exactly.
people have to.
Oh my goodness. And we'll get into the Reddit and the how that affected my career enormously for both good and bad. But yeah, it's that instant gratification of kind of going, I want to know what you think, and if you don't get the 100% positive response, as creatives, we just internalize that so much, and it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
I wanted you to absolutely love this because I spent so long on it. I put so much heart and soul into making the fire come down from the sky, and one guy came good and said something, and it just all the 900 other comments that are like, wow, this is really, really cool, like great job, and you should keep doing this forever. You're just sitting there in bed with the covers up, and you're like, I'm gonna find this one guy. I could find his house. Like, you know, did you listen to Slim Shady's new album, that Kamikaze album? He talks. There's one like skit or something where he's like, "Yeah, I heard this one guy was saying this one thing, and I think I found him. I think I found his house. I'm on his way there. I'm on my way there." You feel like that, like, okay, I'm gonna find you on Facebook. I'm gonna drive to Michigan and go to your mama's house and drag her. It's like because you attacked me. And so
This is the second Eminem reference in the show so
this is
far.
good. It's good. It's
Yeah.
well, hey, where to what how old are you?
Oh man, honestly, 35 tomorrow. Yeah.
Tomorrow, happy early birthday. So I'm
Ugh.
33. So obviously Eminem, how can it not come up? We're two
I
formative.
went to an Eminem concert right after I shattered my elbow skateboarding. And
Oh,
so I
good.
was this little kid, like I think 16 years old or something,
Yeah.
like in the mosh pit, in the
hmm
mosh pit. And because
Right.
his early LP was basically
Yeah,
a
this
rock
is a late
album.
90s story if I've ever heard one. Yeah.
Right?
I've
I was just
shattered my elbow
jamming.
on the skateboard and then
Yeah.
went to the Eminem concert. I love it.
With my chain wallet. Yeah.
And my Jinko jeans and everything.
Yes.
Oh
I thought I was
yeah.
Chino Marino from the
Yeah,
Deftones.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, it's funny, man. But that's the thing. Just let it roll off. Get the. I always like to throw a little when I do an interview thing. I like to throw in a little the life advice because it's so hard to know where to start, to know where to get into if you want to do something in the creative field. So I post little Wednesday wisdoms every once in a while, and just try to keep producing like you're doing. You're building, you're growing, and every new piece you put out, more people will like, and people, and you'll see something that could be improved, and it just gets better every time. Every time I look at stuff that I made 2 years ago, don't even recognize it. Sometimes I go back and fix it, and that's 2 years ago. I haven't changed that much. My skills haven't gotten that much better. I've just done it so much more, so
Right.
I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm looking for.
Absolutely. Let's go back a little bit on the rails, but that was, I kind of knew that we were going to get into that kind of topic, especially when you get into that kind of creative mindset, which is great. That's your TED Talks for the day, kids.
Yeah.
But the work you do, that you put out there is just absolutely stunning. Think about your first Magic piece that you animated. What was it about that piece that made you want to bring that one to life?
Yeah, so I'll give you the quick story. So I was, you're on. I've discovered Reddit. My life will never be the same, for better or worse. And the Magic subreddit, and Noah Bradley, he's quite a prominent artist, is posting there fairly often. And somebody did a pixel art, or maybe it was even him, of Anger of the Gods, one of his more famous earlier art pieces from Theros, I believe. And uh, and so they did it with pixels, little fiery pixels raining from the sky. And I'm sitting here looking at the actual card art, and I was like, I could chop this up. I had no, I don't even really think people accuse me of this, but like of kind of stealing the idea from the Magic trailers. But I wasn't even really playing Magic at that point. I had just dipped my toe back in, so I hadn't even seen one of these set trailers. And I just thought, okay, I could do this. I can make a particle field for the fire, and I started getting really technical and kind of working through it in my mind. Make it a loop, maybe 5 seconds or so, which was similar in length to the one, and make it a GIF, and then we could see what happens. And so I spent, a ton of time making it in After Effects and Photoshop, and cutting it all out, and doing my whole animation. And I posted it, and it just exploded. I mean, it became like, at the time it was, top 20 of all time Magic posts. And Noah Bradley responded and said something like "nice," or like "cool."
Yeah.
A very aloof Noah answer. Cool, man, or something, and that of course had more upvotes than the actual piece. But but it was just like, whoa, an audience, like, boom, there's an outlet. So yeah, that just the response was incredible. But from my very first piece that I put on Reddit, and this is so stupid that I remember this, but of course, like what we were talking about, somebody said, so in Anger of the Gods, there's the guy crouching under the tree. We'll throw the art up or something, and in my animation, I had him rising up like he's sort of accepting his fate or whatever. And somebody said that he should be crouching down, and I'm going, well, no, and you just start arguing with the screen, and you're not gonna reach this person. You're not gonna have the opinion. And since then, I've had so many hilarious ones. Probably the absolute best was Ponder. Somebody goes, "What looks cool, but why did you add a face to the art?" And I'm sitting here going, am I Dan Scott? No, he painted that into the piece. That was there, man. Somebody thought that I had gone, okay, planets are cool, but let's put a face in here like I know how to paint, and just put that, like, really? Somebody typed that out? You just have to envision somebody putting those words into their keyboard machine, and posting it out, and what is going on in their life? And
Well,
I hope they're
pot's
okay.
legal everywhere now, so I mean,
legal everywhere. Tell me about it. Yeah, no joke. But anyway, yeah. So that was the first one. That was just the kind of, I guess, like the stand-up comedian who goes on their first night and just kills it and gets completely hooked. Because that was when I thought, okay, boom, people love this. I know I can. I don't know how I'm going to make any money, but people love this immediately. And so that was what took off for me right there was Anger of the Gods.
That's awesome. And since then, you've done fantastic pieces, and you've also freelanced for the biggest platforms in the game. Let's just list them off: Loading Ready Run, the Command Zone, Game Nights, Tolarian Community College, Manasaurus, Newmont. As much as you can, what projects did you provide for them, and what were these experiences like individually?
Yeah, sure. I'll just run you through the list. The Loading Ready Run guys are incredible. Graham is messaged me out of the blue. So funny when I got started doing all this. It seemed like just when I would finish something cool and be sort of sitting around going, okay, back to my own personal stuff. Some out of the blue, somebody would write me. I'll never forget the little R. Bueller on Reddit, and Randy's written me and and I said and just said he liked my stuff, and that led to me working with him on some official Wizard stuff. But yeah, so Loading Ready Run hit me up. I did the intro to their LLR MTG, which is the Charging Badger, Bump in the Night, and that intro that kind of flies through the 3 Magic cards and that they picked out, and then we later they did a Canadian Highlander, which is another Magic format. Is that what it is? It's Highlander. Yeah. So just did it, just podcast intros, and Graham trusts me always. He just says, I kind of want this, go. Just have fun. The Command Zone, I can't tell you. I could say, Josh Lee Kwai especially is just one of my personal friends at this point. They just, they asked me to do some things in the very beginning when I was just doing stuff for exposure, which they say never work for free. But they're one of the people who I did a few things for, and it paid off so much beyond my belief. But they thanked me, and they probably, I haven't even checked it, but they thanked me every single episode that they did. And I just basically gave them some animations that I had made and said, I'm honored to have them in your show because you guys are doing awesome stuff, Commander. And they, at the end of it, they said, I used to just skip their videos, just, okay, great. I'm happy about Commander, but, and they'd go, and thank you to Geoffrey Palmer. And I was just like,
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Just thank you for doing that. So out of the blue, one day I was thinking about their intro, and obviously the most iconic Commander card is Soul Ring. So, and I was just starting to play with a little bit of 3D. I had some new 3D effects and stuff. So I made the ring, the actual Soul Ring, from the new art, the sort of metallic-y kind of Lord of the Rings, One Ring sitting there looking thing with the lens flare. And it's
now that you say that, they both have a very Lord of the Rings feel. Like one of them looks like the Eye of Sauron,
right,
the other
like
one,
like a before and after kind of thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I start playing, I animated together, and then I put their logo, and it all kind of just fell together. And I just said, here it is. Thank you guys for supporting me, promoting my Twitter every single time. And that's my most recognizable animation, I think, because everybody has seen it. It starts every one of their shows. If you're a fan of them, and basically everybody has come across their stuff now and again. That led to so much. That was everything, because everybody in the whole community then wanted intros, and that led to working with lots more people. And they tapped me again for the intro for Game Nights. I didn't do a ton on that. The intro's live action, but then the little the shield, or the what is it, like the helmet flies back, and then the 3D effects come in. So I made all that, and then I made several of their like effects for when a card explodes, some of the magical particle effects and all, and the nameplates, and just kind of made them a graphics package to get off on the right foot for that. Tolarian Community College, again, can't say enough about Brian and the professor. I made like a 3D intro for him for just trying to get exposure, like, here, I made this for you. And he used it for Good Luck High Five, who were Magic the Amateuring. They're all on there. I didn't even mention them. So cool. I've made all of their intros for their whole series, and transitions and various things for them. And the Manosaurus, just Wedge, just out of the blue, talking to him. I made a streaming screen for him. It's same with Newmont. Dragon breathing fire for his streaming, and these guys who are Newmont's a huge streamer, but Wedge is getting into it more and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, just hitting me up to take their little presentation to the next level. That's the resource that I've been for the last 3 years for the community, and less so now. I'm taking a lot since I got the full-time gig with Channel Fireball. I everybody, I love you and I want to do more, but I'm pretty much not doing any more freelance these days. I'm sorry to disappoint. So if you have your YouTube channel is up and coming, get on the grind and just keep going for it. And maybe we could do some stuff someday, but it's tough. The time going to full time doing Magic was basically sapped all my extra freelance creativity and time, which was good. That was the payoff. That's what I wanted. But yeah,
And
I've had to turn some stuff down. Yeah,
that's another kind of good segue into the next thing. But before that, while you're still doing freelance, like you said, you got tapped by Randy Bueller himself to you've done some work for WotC events also, right?
Yeah. So I did I got my Magic Online. I should have it handy. They sent me a jacket, but for the Magic Online Championships, I worked with Athena and did the graphics for the intros, for everything, just the hype videos, the promos. Randy puts on the Super Leagues, so for a couple of years, I did the Super League. Vintage Super League was our big thing, just making wizards and spheres and mana and all kinds of fun stuff. We did all the Moxes one year. That was I made all the Moxes in 3D and everything, and yeah, that was just so much fun because it was always just what can you come up with? There was no and it's the older formats which I love Legacy. Love if I'm gonna watch anything, it's gonna be Legacy, because that to me is the most fun format to watch because it's the most crazy. Everything is
Absolutely
broken or insane. So yeah, done a few things for Wizards. Never actually, I'm not working for them. Never been on the contract, and that's totally fine. There's so much to do around the actual creation of Magic the Gathering. So don't ever feel like you can't be a part of the conversation because you don't get the call from Wizards. I tell people that all the time. Oh, I want to work for Wizards. Yeah, okay, great. Everybody wants to work for Wizards, but work for anybody. There's so many people out there. There's retailers, there's artists. I've done Kickstarter after Kickstarter for people, artists in the community. Titus Luntner and his wife just did a Kickstarter, and I created the intro for that. And all this stuff, it ties into itself. Like it all leads to one thing leads to another. So it's you just start making stuff, and if it's good, and if you're willing to listen and be easy to work with, people are going to come. People are going to show up, knock on the door. John's going to call, and you're going to get an interview. Maybe if you're lucky, I don't know.
Honor is all mine, sir.
Yeah, the high bar here.
No, but it seems like what was it started as a hobby to then freelancing, and now that's transitioned into being the senior graphics designer for arguably the biggest Magic the Gathering website out there in Channel Fireball.
Yeah.
What's the story with that?
Oh my gosh! So it just goes back to those posts on Reddit. About two posts in, it was quick, and I thought, okay, this is ridiculous. But here's hi, I'm Andy Cooperfaust, the editor-in-chief at Channel Fireball. I love what you're doing. Can we talk? And a short time later, I'm making the Screaming Fireball intro that has started every YouTube video we made for years. And the original iteration of that, I will tell you, I didn't do the sound design as well as I could have. I had it at about max volume, and it was massive rock music and screaming. Obviously, it's Fireball screaming, glass shattering, and I recorded myself screaming. So so it was this huge overproduced thing. We used it for a while, but we had to kill the sound because people wrote us and they were like, I watch these videos in bed and I'm like sort of nodding off. And then I hear this, Michael Bay explosion, roaring fireball thing. And you're keeping me up for 3 more hours, and you got to cut that out.
You really do want to remake the Transformer franchise, don't you?
Just give it to me. Starscream, come on. I just want to do the Starscream spinoff where he finally learns how to not be such a failure, like a redemption story or something. But yeah, so Andy hit me up, and that led to, one thing. Okay. And then there was another guy at the time sort of doing the animations for the Grand Prix. So before it was all of just the set trailers, which is fine. The Grand Prix and the Pro Tours now are all just the set trailers and then little cuts from that. Okay, for 2 years prior to that, if you watched a Grand Prix that was covered, and not all of them, in fact, many of them weren't sponsored by Channel Fireball. The mechanics of all this are a little crazy, but it was covered by us because we had the coverage team. It was Andy in charge of the coverage, and I did all the graphics, so all the transitions and everything. And I would get to do 3 to 4 pieces of original Magic the Gathering art animated into a trailer that would end with Grand Prix Las Vegas, Grand Prix, Oakland, and all this type of stuff. So that was the prime creativity and the golden time of me animating, because I just every 2-3 weeks or so, I would just get to put in a request for 2 wizards to send me the art, like the actual art. Like, we're talking zoom in on Photoshop, because this stuff is enormous. I mean, when it comes on your card size, these paintings are they're huge. You can't fathom it. So I'm sitting there zoomed in, poring over every single little detail, going, this is just a scribble here. And you look at it on the card, and you can't tell. Obviously, it works in card. But yeah, so that was just the most fun of me absolutely being creative, trying to tell a story for each one. If it was a modern thing, I would do whatever was the hot modern decks at the time, Standard, Legacy. For Vegas, I had the I don't know if you remember, but like the True Name Nemesis rising out of the Bellagio fountains.
Oh
yeah, and then Primeval Titan looking in between the buildings of the strip and stuff. So that was just the pure freelance creativity, the most fun. But that was where I paid my dues, because it was really just a case of how much can you push yourself, because I had a full-time job. So there were crazy times, there was late nights, and that's where it was, trying to make myself indispensable. That's the thing. If you can make yourself a linchpin, then you're the only person they can go to, and because that's going to look the best. And so that's what I set out to do. And it took longer, because it happened so fast. I thought it was going to take less time, but no, they made the choice to bring me on full time when it worked for them, this Channel Fireball, and when it made sense for me, because I had proven, okay, the work I do is going to be worth it to have as a full-time gig. So that's kind of how it all came about with that.
I mean, you think of just like mad scientists in the community, like a Josh Lee Kwai, like a Brian from Tolarian, and you think of, the first thing you think, oh my God, they're just all so busy all the time producing this content. But I mean, it sounds like you are just a hamster in the wheel, like constantly churning and producing just incredible stuff. Just your actual faces in on it. Yeah.
Oh man, that was the thing. I really was behind the scenes, and that's okay. Because the payoff was seeing how much everybody loved it, and I've always thought, okay, Geoffrey, you could be a content producer. You could go out and I could maybe it would look the best, but I didn't have anything to say at the time, and maybe someday I will. Maybe I'll boy, that Magic Arena, that is fun. So, I don't know. Maybe we're going to see Living Cards playing some net decking and whatever else on that. I don't know if anybody would want to watch that, but no, I love it because I do get satisfaction. I'm standing next to all these content creators, and when meeting people and they say, "Well, I don't recognize you," and then they, whoever I'm standing with, will go, "Okay, well, have you seen this, 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 this? That's all Geoffrey." And then it's like, wow, So I have certainly gotten the satisfaction and the recognition for my efforts, even if my face hasn't been plastered right in the front of it, and I'm perfectly happy with that, and just going to keep going.
Well, and you do have your own YouTube channel in Living Cards
Yeah, I do.
MTG.
I used to really be going for the, I got my Living Cards shirt on. I used to be going for the branding hardcore. I need to do more because people were responding there. But again, my animating has slowed way down. It's just, it's hard these days. I'm being more selective. So yeah, I think it will be a case of me just sort of every once in a while, the spark, I'll see it and I'll go, okay, that piece, just put that on the roster. That's getting animated.
I think the last one was Chalice of the Void,
Chalice of the
right?
Void.
Yeah.
And that was, I put a lot of time into it. It was the old days, and I have to force myself to do that because anymore there's the instant hit of kind of creating viral content that's really quick. So forcing yourself to go, okay, no, I'm gonna take no shortcuts. Every piece that I can make glisten and shine, everything I can mask and affect, I'm going to spend the time to do it. And then you put that out and it explodes and people love it and it's just like the old day. Then it's worth it. And I think, okay, that was, I still got it enough to do that, and still have that hunger. It's just more selective. It's just more, I want to find the pieces that speak to me rather than just trying to get the notoriety and because I've worked with everybody that I want to work with and will continue to want to grow and work with more. But I've gotten to a level that I really want to, we're at cruising altitude, so more stuff is just cherries on top. Yeah.
That's awesome. And
yeah.
Like myself, you are a giant film fan and most notably a horror fan. What is it about the horror genre that draws you in?
Oh man, so I could talk all day about horror movies. It's a genre that is so fascinating to me because it's an emotion that we don't. This is my sort of put on my little philosophical hat about, but it's an emotion that we don't experience in our day-to-day life. Not really. Like I laugh every day. I love to laugh. Comedy is a part of my life. I've met a beautiful woman. She married me. I got romance coming out of my ears. I'm a romantic guy. Okay, the dozen roses, all of that. So these emotions that make up the and life is dramatic. I'm going through in my mind all the genre, but I'm not scared. I'm living in middle class Minnesota. And I have a very comfortable life. It's great. It's not the highs and lows. And it's just pretty even keel. So something about tapping into that primal fight or flight response, and just seeing something that just shocks you, especially when it's a payoff and not just a jump scare, when it's something that horrifies you. That's what I like to say. There's a difference between horror, and horrifying.
Absolutely.
Where something is horror when it just the axe comes down, but when you realize something appears on screen, or you something comes into your mind, like like as Danny is being stalked by his dad in the Shining, and you're sort of going down this depths of what could happen, and even if it doesn't happen, you're just sort of going on this journey, and before you know it, you're just this complete ball of like nerves, and then you're experiencing everything. The character, it's the best escapist genre, I say, when it's done well. You know what I mean? When it's done well.
I really think the best representation of that feeling is John Carpenter's The Thing. I mean, there is some jump scares, but the whole time you're sitting there in knots and you're just like, it's that almost, and it's like watching Clue, but with like a horrifying spin on it too. I think that's one of my favorite horror movies.
Building on all the layers of terror and the effects and everything. I've probably seen it 30 times. I own it. I watch it every year minimum a couple of times. It's how to do everything right.
It has one of the most earned jump scares ever in the Petri dish scene. If you haven't seen the film, go watch it. But that is because I am like you. I get very annoyed by jump scares because they're cheap and there's a place for like slasher films, like your Friday the 13th and all that. There is a place for that. Those are fun. But when you just create that much tension and then you have that mid payoff of that jump scare, it's just like Beethoven's effect. Like
absolutely
incredible.
And there's a renaissance now. The indies are coming for it, like with It Follows and Hereditary.
Absolutely.
They're just these movies that are going, okay, let's go for the dread, let's go for the horrifying, and try to make you just sit there feeling like, oh no. It harkens back to the early days, because back then they couldn't do convincing effects. So you're talking about the original House on Haunted Hill, where the scariest thing is like bings and bangs and bongs around, but that's way more scary than any of the subsequent remakes, because they're showing there's the monster. Okay, and once you show the monster, then everybody goes, okay, there's the monster. I've seen the monster before.
That's why the original Alien worked. That's why
the haunted house in space.
You never see the knife enter Janet Leigh in the shower in Psycho. It's all perceived. Your mind does it. Yep. Wait, see, this is a whole different podcast now.
I know this is. We can go forever on this, but that's definitely my favorite genre, and I tend to gravitate. Getting back to the magic stuff, I tend to gravitate towards some of the more horrifying art. I think my favorite art, probably one of my favorites, is Phyrexian Unlife, with the hands that are in front of the face, and just I did the eyes kind of looking around. And you get the sense, and this is, again, all credit to the artist. I don't say that enough, and I'm going to say it once and try to say it again. Everything I do, all credit to the artist, because they've evoked this moment. It's like, okay, what's the absolute hero second of this life and this story? And then I try to tell a moment before or a moment after or the moment leading up to it. But with Phyrexian Unlife, you've just got this sense of absolute dread in the eyes, and the face doesn't move at all. It's just completely frozen, as though they're so completely overwhelmed that they're covered with the mask. And then here comes the hands to just absolutely what has happened to me, as though it's just this new thing.
It's great. It's very Clive Barker, like what are they called? Cenobites or something? Yeah,
Cenobites. Yeah,
Cenobites.
Yeah. The Hellraiser franchise, the 1 and 2 are just mountaintop. The classic horror films for that absurdist, completely the way to do gore over the top, but still have it be completely convincing.
So with all that being said, is there any future plan? And you said you're kind of at a good place right now, career-wise, kind of cruising. But any plans on maybe dipping your toe into filmmaking?
Yeah, I mean, it's always in the back of my mind, and for me, it's probably going to be screenwriting. I did a lot of that. I got the first minor at Missouri State University in screenwriting, like just after they started the program. And my teacher was like, you could do this, but again, what have I put the time into? It's been what I'm doing for my career now. I just haven't been on the grind. And it's going to take, stacks and stacks, and that's a whole nother thing that I could go down, and maybe I will, because lots of ideas. It's just huge amounts of time. And the problem is the creativity side, and I'll admit this about myself, I've gotten very much into the kind of stand-up comedy, kind of instant gratification type of thing of the viral content, because it's so satisfying to just spend X amount of time, not like a day, like an hour, like a minute, to make something that then gets seen by thousands and thousands of people. And it's tough to sit there and go, okay, put all that aside. I'm going to lock myself in a room and I'm going to punch away on a keyboard for something that may never get seen. So that's my horror. That's that's what scares me, and I want to do it, and I will. And I really will at some point. But that's the roadblock, and why I haven't gone further down and actually done more with film itself. Is just I'm too much into the instant satisfaction of sharing things quickly, making things quickly, and but like I said, I still do the animations, and those I put the hours and hours and hours into making those. I think 6 to 12 hours on average. The Chalice of the Void took multiple evenings, so probably 10 hours for that. Yeah, so I'll put the time in, but with screenwriting, we're talking months, we're talking maybe years. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. All right, Geoffrey, this is about the time where we do a special game, and it's not every day I get a fellow cinephile on here, so I'm going to exploit you for this. We're going to do it. Yeah, we're going to do a totally new game called Casting the Multiverse.
Okay.
We're going to bring the spin down back, kind of like Face the D20, but instead of non-magic related questions, these are going to be characters from your favorite game. We're going to roll a couple times, and we're going to cast the perceived Magic the Gathering movie. Maybe one day we'll get Geoffrey Palmer to make it.
Let's go. At least I'll write it, maybe.
You're right.
I have to learn the story first, but yeah, we'll figure it out.
All right, so yeah, you are the guesser, so why don't you go ahead and roll?
Okay, so I'm just rolling here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a D&D player as well, so of course I started with a natural 20.
Oh, nice. That is Amara. She is one of the guild members from Ravnica.
Oh, is that who's tapping to make us the tokens?
That's her.
Amara. Oh yeah. Let me just get a look here. She is. Oh yeah. Okay. So that what came to mind first was Gwyneth Paltrow, but I'm changing to Cate Blanchett. I know I don't want to typecast her too much with the Lord of the Rings. Obviously, is Galadriel, the queen. But there's nobody more powerful and just absolutely looks like they could take you apart with one gaze than Cate Blanchett. So that's let's go with that for Amara.
That's the pick. Yeah, that's strong, man. I mean, I think about Cate Blanchett now, and I liked how she kind of went the darker, like kind of Maleficent route in the newest Thor Ragnarok. I think she killed it as a bad guy, too.
Absolutely. Yeah. A lot more than she killed it as a bad guy in Indiana Jones. Not a good movie. So we'll just move right on.
No one killed it. The only thing that died in that movie was
childhood. Yeah.
Lucas's career. Number 11, Lavinia. Okay, so this is actually a hot one because we just got spoiled the brand new art, and I'm gonna take advantage of that, and boom, there it is.
Hey, who are you going with?
Oh man, so we got
another powerful female.
Another powerful female. Geez, kind of a good build, like a stronger build.
Yeah.
Do we go back to no, I was going to say Gina Carano, but she's not very good.
She popped into my mind as well. Maybe we could just get her, or whoever the Brienne of Tarth is from Game of Thrones.
Oh, there we go.
Because she was Captain Phantasma in the Star Wars. I'm not sure what her name is, but yeah.
Give her a bigger part than she had as Captain Phantasma, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Boy, that was not as cool.
Swing and a miss.
Right. A whole movie.
You're up.
Alrighty, here we go. I got a 2.
A 2. Oh, you have the very big responsibility of casting Mickey Mouse, better known as Jace.
Jace. Oh my. So, Jace, I the age of the what do we feel like they are relatively supposed to be? Are they in their 20s? Are they in their 30s?
I think at this point Jace is like a mid to early 30s.
Yeah. I feel like if I was making the movie, I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna put Ryan Reynolds as Jace.
Ooh, I like that actually. Yeah.
Because he's gonna be the comedic. The role is going to be serious, but if we put in Deadpool, then everybody's going to go see it. So
yeah,
we'll put the top guy. Yeah, there's nobody, as far as box office white guys, I'm going Ryan Reynolds. Let's put him in.
That's the only reason why I want to see the new Pokemon movie now.
I know. Oh man, I want to see it. That was the first RPG I ever played. You always maintain an interest. Pokemon, let's go. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds. All right, cheer up, man.
All right, I rolled an 11 again. I rolled an 11 twice in a row. Do I win something?
Yeah.
I swear to God, that was fourth in a row. Oh, dude, I swear.
Give it a little more roll, buddy. Give it a
crazy. Okay, I rolled a 20 also. Why did I move out of Vegas? All right, 15. Ooh,
15.
Kaya.
Yeah, there you go.
Better known as the Ghost-Faced Killer. Oh man, what an awesome character, and I'm very excited to learn more about her. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna go easy on this one, Zoe Saldana, because I love Zoe Saldana. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going with the sister from Black Panther.
Oh, that's a good one.
What was her name? Yeah, I can't find it, but anyway, yeah, super powerful women. I've gotten some powerful women, and then I cast Ryan Reynolds, so it's a mixed bag here.
we got this. Why can't we get this movie done?
I know. I love it. I love it.
I'll roll my last one, which is a 3, and that's Joyra. Talk about another one. Joyra, I kind of want to go with like a Kristen Wiig. And Joyra, like, that pops in my mind. I just think a Tappy Toe Claws doing the amazing cosplay of it.
Yeah.
I mean, she's just so awesome. So it's hard to imagine someone else's Joyra.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's get Kristen Wiig in there. I think she's just the right amount of spunky.
Who's the Pitch Perfect Anna Kendrick?
Anna Kendrick, yeah.
There we go. That's my pick for Joyra. Yeah, I like it.
Perfect.
Bouncing around on the ship.
All right.
Am I doing one more?
Why don't you close it out?
Okay, I'll close her out with 17.
17, we got, man, Aurelia.
Oh, the Boros. See, I hate Aurelia right now because I'm so tired of playing against her. So again, yeah. Okay, so yeah, boy, she looks like a kind of a Brienne of Tarth as well.
Right.
But we gotta mix it up. Let me look here. See that face? Oh, you know who I like for her? Let's go with, she played Psylocke in the X-Men.
Oh, yeah, she used to be on G4. God, why am I blanking on names? We're so good at this.
Blanking. Yeah, who played her was Olivia Munn. Yeah, so
Olivia Munn.
We get your Olivia. You're a redhead now. We do a slight there, but that's perfect. Yeah, with the eyebrows. Ooh, she could lead some red and white. Who's that? Charger, Adanto Vanguard, who's killing us all endlessly on MTG Arena. She's just saying, "Get in there, and get it done." Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with Aurelia. I'm on a Terrence Malick kick right now.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go with Jessica Chastain. For Aurelia.
Don't even have to change the hair then. That's better. I submit. Oh, I love Jessica Chastain.
God,
she is awesome. Boy, she is ice cold. That Zero Dark 30 where she's just, go and find Bin Laden and get it done. You can just see Aurelia saying that. So perfect.
Yeah. All right. Absolutely. And that's your magic movie. That's casting the multiverse. Geoffrey, any upcoming projects you could spoiler tease for the group real quick?
Yeah, I'd love to, but you know what? Just get on Twitter and give me a follow at Living Cards MTG, and it's going to be memes. It's going to be talking about all kinds of fun stuff. The hot community people going. There's going to be art, and occasionally there's going to be some high quality content that I put some effort into. But like just today, they put out the awful new look at Aladdin, and I thought it looked like Kazam, so I slapped the Kazam sticker on it. 6,000 people have seen it already. So
I was so that's another podcast.
What are we gonna do?
Stop ruining my childhood.
They really are just determined. But no, yeah, I'm making everything for Channel Fireball. So come check us out, channelfireball.com. The whole site's wrapped in all the graphics that I've done, and that feels pretty darn good. So the memes on Twitter are coming thick and fast these days, and I'm just having fun. I want to enormously say thank you to everybody who's given me a follow and who is interested in what I've got to say, good or bad. And just I'm going to keep at it. I can't say that the new projects are going to be this or this, because I really don't know, and that's the way I've done it this entire time. I'm just excited. I'm like a dog chasing cars, to quote the Joker. I don't know what I would do if I actually planned something. It's just stay tuned. That's all I can say.
Oh man, this has been an absolute treat. Thank you so much, Geoffrey Palmer, for planeswalking in today. You could, like I said, multiverse or planeswalkers, you could go while you're traversing, go stop at cardsphere.com, the best place to buy, sell, and trade your paper magic online. Go to inkedgaming.com if you'd like to directly support the channel. Go get a custom playmat for the Hive Mind or 10th Street Hooligans. Enter promo code Hive Mind MTG to get your 10% off. Also, if you want to hear this in audio form only, you can do that over at constructedcriticism.com. That's where we exclusively upload this very show in podcast form. So for Geoffrey, I'm John. You could follow me right here, or follow me on Twitter at OrzovDunn. Until next time, Planeswalkers, we'll see you all in the multiverse.